Of Brunchwives. Today we're at Forks and Flavors to chat it up with Darnell. Stay tuned.
I'm really great with interviews, so okay. I'd rather not really preview the questions first, just so that it doesn't feel like it's rehearsed and it just feels like it's like just real and natural. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. But just if there's anything that's off topic, off limits, you just.
Nothing is ever off topic or off limits.
Okay.
Especially with me.
Thank
you.
Pop right there and say yes, for sure. Yes. So even your energy, you seem really outgoing and confident. Where did that charisma come from?
It came from years and years and years of being unsure of myself through elementary and middle school. And once I finally came out of my shell, it was like, oh wow, this is Darnell, the big personality. And it's just grown and grown and grown and matured over the years. I'm actually quite reserved right now. I'm not at 1,000 like I'm usually at. I'm at about a 275 right now. But seeing Darnell on 1,000 is, a lot of people have seen me. Have I gotten to 1,000 here? Not actually. I've gotten to 1,000 here once or twice, but just being the person that I am and the energy that I have has just grown and developed over the years. And when we decided to open the restaurant, we knew hey, that was going to be something that we definitely needed, and not only myself, but in our staff as well too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know personality and quality food are big factors that make businesses very successful, but opening in the middle of a pandemic is a huge risk. So what was that like? And did you intend to open 6 months ago? Did you plan to open earlier than that? What was that setup like?
So throughout the duration of David and I's relationship, things have always been kind of spur of the moment. And in May of last year, we decided, hey, this is the year we're going to open a restaurant. I said, babe, let's open a restaurant. He said, okay, let's do it. What do we have to lose?
Yeah.
If I fall on my knees. If I fall flat on my back, I'm just going to look up to the heavens and say, God, whatever your will is, your will be done. And stepping out on faith in the past, prepared me to step out on faith and take this huge leap of faith and open a restaurant in the middle of a pandemic, because we haven't seen a slow day. We haven't had a rough week. If anything, our rough weeks have come from weeks like this week where we're constantly busy, where we're here till 1 o'clock in the morning. But, we got to wake up Sunday morning and bake the biscuits, baby.
Yeah. So what was it about May? Because 2020 was an interesting year for the pandemic reason, but then also for Black people in general. What was it that was like, now's the time, after 7 years of doing it?
It was just looking at the pandemic and getting one thing that we have always said we don't have enough of, and that's time. We had nothing but time on our hands during the pandemic. David actually quit his job this time last year, a year ago. He quit his job in corporate America to pursue catering full time. And then one of the worst things that has ever happened in our business, everybody started to cancel all of their events. We had about 20 events scheduled for the year, with more events anticipated to come and projected to come. But when the pandemic hit and they started canceling, we just decided to take a pivot and say, hey, let's just open a restaurant. And that is obviously going against the grain. That's going 100 miles in the opposite direction, but it was the right direction for us. Is to take that time that we had to actually develop our restaurant business plan, to actually develop our marketing plan, to actually look into different things and see what it is to get a liquor license and all of that. Things that we always wanted to do in the past, but we never had enough time to do it. And God gave us the time, He gave us the funds, He gave us the vision, He gave us the building, and He continues to bring in great customers week after week. The goals moving forward for the business obviously is growth, but in the interim, we want to be able to learn because neither David nor myself have ever worked in a restaurant, and especially in this capacity. We've never worked in a full service restaurant. Like I said, I'm a nurse, he's a corporate accountant, so it's just a lot of growth, personal growth, as well as professional growth over the next year or so, but then also physical growth because we have already expanded our restaurant slightly to add more tables and chairs because it's definitely needed, but expanding into a bigger and better building are definitely bigger goals on the horizon for Forks and Flavors.
Now, one more on top of that. Do you see Forks and Flavor like in another city, county, or another state?
Yes. So we've been requested and we've been asked, like, are you all going to open up another location on the south side? Are you going to open in Decatur? Are you going to open here? Are you going to open there? The plan is we have two plans for opening. We are definitely opening a smaller version of Forks and Flavors, but it's going to be a wine bar, and we're going to serve tapas, and that's going to serve as our test kitchen where we will introduce new meals and new flavors before putting them into our main restaurant. And we're actually going to do a twist on words and call it Corks and Flavors, but it's going to be Corks spelled with a K. And we're going to serve majority wine, like I stated, and tapas, small plates. But our next restaurant, full service restaurant, is actually scheduled to open in Houston next year.
That's amazing.
Next summer.
Why Houston?
Houston is David's favorite city, and it's quickly becoming my favorite city. But Houston, just like Atlanta, does very well when it comes to Black-owned restaurants. The individuals in Houston, they definitely support their Black-owned businesses, and they do a really great job when it comes to Black-owned businesses in Houston, much like Atlanta.
That's phenomenal. So Corks and Flavors, when you
Yes.
slated to open, and where's that going to be?
So Corks and Flavors is still kind of in the thought process and thought phase. So we actually have Wine Down Wednesdays, which we coined with the name Corks and Flavors, just so that the name is out there and people are saying it, and they know when the next time they see it on the billboard, they're going to say, I'm going to Corks and Flavors. I've been to their Wine Down Wednesday. This is their wine bar. They've always talked about it. So, but we plan on putting it in a highly foot traffic area, so basically a downtown area where it's already in a thriving neighborhood, but it's going to be on the north side, above 285, but more likely Roswell, maybe the Avalon area, maybe Alpharetta, or maybe even Canton or Cartersville. In those downtown areas is where we definitely want to have that.
I love that. So you mentioned that you have a pretty good relationship with a lot of Black-owned businesses in the greater Atlanta area.
Yes.
What kind of advice did you get from them? What kind of advice did you get from them?
So the best advice that we have received, and this is going to be a plug, and only because his book is in the corner of my eye right now, it came from our really great friends, Juan and G. They have a restaurant on the south side called Virgil's Gullet Kitchen. And the best advice that they gave us was always remember who you all are to yourselves and who you all are to each other, because that is the number one most important thing that we cannot forget about. Is I can't forget about Darnell, I can't forget about David can't forget about David, and he can't forget about me, because we are where we started, and regardless of whichever direction the restaurant goes in, we always have to remember that we're married, we're in love, and that's all that matters, and this is just something that we're doing together in our marriage. But on the business side of things, and they know how I am when it comes to reviews and things like that, and y'all can look at our reviews on Google and see what I'm talking about, is take everything with a grain of salt. People are going to complain. We know that. Inevitably, people are just naturally going to complain, but it's all about how you handle those complaints. Now, this is where I go against the grain. My entire life, I've always gone against the grain. I don't have the corporate, oh, thank you for your review. We absolutely, hold ourselves to a higher standard, and I apologize that your food was not to our liking. However, come in next time and we'll comp your entire meal. I don't do that. I don't do that. We opened our own business to do things our own way. And if you give me the energy oh, the food was this, the food was that, and I never spoke to you in the restaurant, I'm going to say you did not request to speak to a manager or the owner. We are owner operators. We're here every day, all day. And like I told one guest, you know, out of your last 18 reviews, majority of them have been 1 to 2 stars. Maybe you should stay at home and cook your own food. And that's just honestly how I feel. I give you the same energy that you give me. And a lot of people feel a certain type of way about that. And when they say, oh, that's not how you're supposed to do it, and I say, well, show me the manual where I'm supposed to do it a certain way. And they pull a corporate manual. Guess what? This is not corporate. This is Forks and Flavors. And it's not being an asshole. It's not being mean. It's just we built this restaurant. We built this concept from the love that we have with each other and the love that we have for customer service. David loves to cook and I love to entertain. And it's like being an artist. You know, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. So you can find us at forksandflavors.com. That's FORKSFLAVORS.com. And we're located in Kennesaw at 2920 George Busby Parkway, Suite 109, Kennesaw, Georgia 30144. And you can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all at Forks and Flavors.